Mine, heavier, broader, so it hit, cut through the clavicle, sheared ribs, split the chest bone, and then sheared through these ribs. And the dummy literally just went flop and then kind of came back together.
What's going on, guys? Dan Wise, Wise Media Studios. We are back with another Spotlight Business Thursday, and today's episode is going to be really cool. We have the winner of Forged in Fire of Season 5, Episode 15, Tim Louk, is in the house. Just before we get started on that, I want to make sure you go check out one of our sponsors over at Northtown Coffee House, Jesse Roberts. They have amazing coffee. If you haven't been in there yet, they're over on Front Street. There's a link on the description of the screen right now. There's also a link directly in the description of the video. So definitely go check out their coffee. Mention that you came over there from Wise Media Studios, and they will hook you up. So Tim, hi, how are you?
I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
I'm doing awesome. So this is pretty cool, and you brought us some stuff. Tim's brought some gear over here, some daggers. Smaller ones.
Well, what I like to do.
This is now the third person we've interviewed off of a pretty cool reality show. We did Robbie Ripoll from Ink Masters, who had a really cool episode. He lost his leg in this gruesome, it's called, to where you get hooks in your back, and they suspend you up in the air. There's a name for it. And the guy holding the rope, he accidentally dropped the rope and dropped him from full height, and his leg came down and snapped, and they tried to rehabilitate it, ended up getting amputated, so horrible.
The side of the A-frame, and I was climbing up, and I was like, man, this is a long way to climb. I thought I was higher than this in my head. So then I dropped down, and as I dropped down, the slack doesn't pick up, and the rope breaks, and my leg goes this way. I remember hearing the snap. To this day, I still have a hard time watching movies where people's bones break.
The Robbie Ripoll, awesome tattoo artist out of Melbourne. Guys, go check that video out. Local, right here in Yakima, we have Shawn Niles, a.k.a. Fat Pastor, who was on MasterChef.
You have certain cultural food that they don't cook what they eat. They cook what they think we Americans want to eat. Right. Yeah.
So, you know, I had this thought of what I thought it was going to be like, and he's like, damn. And now, really cool, guys, go check it out because his son, Asher Niles, is on MasterChef Junior. He's probably going to kill it, and that's all local stuff. So today, we're here to talk about Forged in Fire, and you also have a business where you create these awesome tools, weapons, pieces of art. I don't know what the correct way to describe this. Of the above. Now, you make most of this stuff custom, right? This is custom order type stuff?
I can do custom. This is all just stuff that I forged out, and then I'll take to shows, different shows across. I've got one down in Texas this coming April. First weekend in April, I'll be down there. And then I'll be up in Kashmir. They'll have a Ren Fair up there in May. And then there's a huge Ren Fair in Monroe 5 weekends during the summer, and we'll be there as well.
So you do a lot of traveling?
I try not to, but I end up doing some.
It's probably where you make your money out.
Yeah, it is.
Right? Because now, so being on the show, what year was this? Season 5, episode 15.
Oh, you want my brain to work. We shot it in 2017 fall, and then it aired in June of 2018.
Now, how did you end up getting on this show?
Well, it was funny. The first time I saw it, I thought, this is bad. I want nothing to do with this. And
were you already building swords and weaponry at this point?
A little bit. I'd been doing it for some years, but I was doing a lot of what they call stock removal. I didn't have a good forge. I had no anvil. I had cheap hammers from Harbor Freight, Home Depot.
He pretty much just described my entire toolkit.
Right?
Thanks.
Then we went on, and my wife convinced me, you really ought to go for it. Because she watched the first 3 or 4 seasons with me, and she's like, your blades are better than these. And I thought, they're all right. And then sure enough, she convinced me to sign in, and I tried it, and they called me. Well, they emailed me. They don't call you. They email you. And said, well, here, let's set up a Skype meeting, and you can have some of your stuff available. And we'll have you talk to one of the supervisor, but casting crew member, and then it's everything that you do, and then she sends it up to her boss, and then he makes a decision. And she told me, well, it's going to take about 45 minutes. Okay. 2.5 hours later of me interviewing with her, and I'm running all around because I'm ADHD, and I'm just like, hold on. And I'd run off and grab another piece and bring it back and show her, and we'd talk, and she's like, what about this? I'm like, oh. And I'd run back inside. And apparently the energy is what they loved, and so they're like, yeah. And they told me, yeah, we want you. Great. Told them, sent me a little form. When can you not available? It's like hunting season. So this to this, I'm not available. They sent back, okay, well, we want you from here to here. I'm like, wait a minute.
During season?
Right during the middle of hunting season, like, I hunt with my dad, and we're going to get a few more years of that. So that's not going to work. Oh, well, we'll put you over here on this end. Well, they actually moved me up sooner. And what they'd wanted me for originally was a veterans episode. And
because you also served, correct? Yeah. Thank you for your service, by the way.
Thank you for the opportunity, actually. They moved me up by 3 weeks. And I was like, crap. So I ran out, cleaned up my shop and everything, just in case I got to come back. And my wife's like, I don't know why you're using just in case you get to come back. She goes, you need back here.
Did they film this at your location?
Well, the original setup is you go to their studio and you shoot there. They have you do a 3-hour forge time, and it is once the clock starts, you got 3 hours to forge out whatever they want you to forge out. Then you have a ton of interviews. For every hour you're actually doing something, you probably got 2 to 3 hours of interviews. And then next day, they kick somebody out. They look at all your stuff, and yep, okay. And then you have, immediately after that, more interviews, and then they give you a 3-hour time block, whip out the guards, whatever. And then the next day they do their testing, and then that's when they select who the final 2 are going to be.
Now, when they do the testing, do they do the psyche valves and everything?
Oh, no, didn't pass. We wouldn't. It was really cute. When we first got there was a driver, and she wasn't just our driver. She was our wrangler. And it was her job to keep all the blacksmiths in one area because we weren't in a prettier part of town. And they said, the problem with you guys is you will wander, and we don't need you guys out wandering through the locals because it's not going to go well.
Where was this at?
This was over in New York City.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah, in one of the boroughs.
Okay. My kid there.
And so, yeah, it was fun. And she was awesome, and she kept us all...
How long are you there for?
About 4 days.
Okay.
When you first go there, the way they select who goes home to do work in their own shop is they give you, like with me, they had an anvil with like a chamois cloth over it, and there was something under it. So we pulled that off, and it was kind of funny because we pulled off the chamois cloth, and we're all just looking at this drill case box, and we're all just looking at it. And they're like, great flourish, but how about you open up the box? Let's do this again. Okay, so we open up the box. Oh, drill bits, great. And all of us are just like, shit. Oh, damn. And a friend of mine made up a meme, and it's got all of our faces with the drill box case, and it says, when you realize you're not just screwed, but you're drilled and screwed. Because we had to take the drill bits, forge them into a chunk of high carbon steel, then take low carbon steel and do a san mai, which is you've got low carbon, you forge it all together, so you've got enough to make a knife.
Wow.
So then we had to use that, make the knife. Then after that's over with, then they kick one of you out. And
kick one of you out like you're not
the competition.
You suck. You're gone.
Exactly. For lack of a better, yeah. Sorry, didn't make the cut. No pun intended. But so we lost one there. Then we come back in, more interviews, and then you get 3 hours. Well, they gave us 3 hours to make our handles to put on the knives. And sometimes it's really easy, but with us, they told us it's got to be at least 2 different materials. You've got to have X amount of, through, et cetera. I went with my usual go-to, which is a sax blade. I love them. And the only thing they really tell you ahead of schedule is how they're going to test your knife. So you can kind of just want to make a chopper, a slicer, a cleaver, what kind of knife you want to make.
Because something like from what we saw in the episode, it's testing all of those. It's testing the slicing, kind of chopping.
With the one they told us, it was slicing and chopping. We didn't have to do any stabs. So technically, I didn't need to put a tip on the end of mine, but saxes have tips. So
because
put a tip.
Didn't he use it? Didn't I see him stab it into the dummy and break some ribs?
No, that was the sword that I made.
Oh, okay.
That was after I got selected.
Okay, so different weapons. So
Yeah.
Okay.
Different weapons. The first batch is how they decide the two guys that are going to go head to head. Then you go back to your own shop, and they send a poor guy that has to stand out there with you for 10 hours a day, filming you and interviewing you, and then box up your stuff and you send it back, and then you fly back, and then you do a one-day episode of you show up, you get in there, they test it, and
You're the
win or
maker,
you
you
lose.
don't. First weapon you made,
Mhm.
where to? Did they film?
Oh yeah, it's there in the shop, and so yeah,
Okay, some clips of that as well then.
if you find it. Yeah.
Do you have access to those clips?
The only way I've got access to those is if I watch the entire episode.
So it is on the episode?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
so
all on the episode.
we must have just watched a clip then.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What it's going to show you on those will be the final test, the test of the big, whatever the weapon was.
Right. Well,
So-
we're definitely going to have a link in here where I'll probably grab all of it and put a link to the whole episode. 'Cause it's probably on YouTube, so people can go out and watch that. If
I
it's
don't
not,
know. The full episode, maybe. I haven't seen it on there.
okay.
It used to be on Daily Motion. I know it's on Amazon.
When you applied to be on the show, how many people did you have to beat out initially, like to be selected in the first round?
I have no idea.
Okay. I imagine people.
Yeah, there's more we'd think. Then at the same time, we're actually still a pretty small group.
When you watch some of these old shows, like I don't know if you've ever seen like Deadwood, any of these shows
Never watched that one.
where they got like the olden days where they've got like the old blacksmith shop set up. Is that, do you kind of Viking? Do you kind of have Viking blood in you?
You bring that up. Viking is one that I did watch, and I loved it.
Okay.
His tattoos are Norse and Celtic. And,
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like there's some authenticity to when you see some of these shows to what it was like for blacksmith to be around back in those days.
Some of them.
Okay.
But you ever see them and they're hitting the iron or the steel and you hear it ringing? That's dubbed in.
Okay.
If you hot metal, it's like hitting plastic. It just thud.
Thud, because
It rings. Your metal, if it's hot, your metal won't ring.
And if we apocalyptic times, you'll have a trade that's going to be high command.
I've actually, on some of my shows that I've sold at, I'll make what I call my collection. It'll be stuff that I make using old lawnmower blades and all this other stuff. That's just, it's like looking at something like the taters out of Star Wars would carry. They're ugly. It's an ugly thing, but people, they eat it up, so it's whatever.
Functionality, right? Because we were talking about earlier, I was telling you one of my childhood friends with the original Red Power Ranger, Austin St. John. And I think people would kind of being able to come and say, hey, I would like the Tyrannosaurus. I don't even know what his sword was called.
I bet my wife does.
But it would be kind of pretty dope seeing something like that. But you were saying that making something like that, it's very important for the end user to realize this isn't going to be part of your zombie apocalypse collection. This is going to be part of your
It's going to be a wall hanger. Something
Yeah.
Look real pretty. Everything I make is functional, but you can only defy physics for so far.
right.
And then, all these blades, you look at them, they're awesome. If they're made out of, plastic with a chrome coating on it, it looks great and you can pick it up. But in reality, the thing weighs 15 to 20 pounds.
And we've got some daggers. So these are all this is all stuff that you made, correct?
Yep. Actually, I don't have any daggers here. These are just Bowie knives.
Okay. And I imagine pretty functional.
Oh, yeah. It's what we call a fighter, Bowie fighter.
So tell me about this piece I'm looking at right here. What is this made from?
Blade itself is going to be 80 CRV2. It's about 60 on the Rockwell scale, which is the hardness scale. And then I went with David off the show, gave me the trick on how to make those clamshells.
This?
Yeah. One of the judges off Fortune Fire is like, oh, they're easy. Because I was like, I need to learn that. And he's like, oh, it's easy.
Because that looks like it would be very strong. It looks like if I were to apply pressure, it'd snap.
Yeah, it's not snap too quickly, and you usually wouldn't put pressure there anyways. It's
Right.
more just keep your hand from getting sliced in the knuckles.
Okay.
And it's just a stabilized box elder down at the bottom, and they take a good type of wood, and they put this stuff they call cactus juice on it, which is just some sort of chemical.
So this is wood.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
wood. When you stabilize it with the juice, they put it in a vacuum. It sucks all the air out, and that stuff goes inside and catalyzes into wood. And basically, it turns it to where it's almost plastic. So
I thought this was almost like a porcelain or something originally. So wood.
yeah, water won't affect, heat won't affect it. I mean, you can, but
Why the fuck don't they make fences out of this in Florida?
Because it's not cheap. That's what a lot of people...
Neither is replacing your fence every other year.
No, but that's like a $50 piece of wood just for the one handle.
So what would this blade cost the average?
That one with the scabbard is going to be pushing $450 to $500.
Wow. This is, what is it called?
That's the scabbard.
The scabbard? Okay.
Yep.
And you miss as well.
Yes, I did.
This looks like it's out of some kind of like ostrich skin or something.
I'm too cheap as ostrich skin. That's just regular cowhide, and then they just roll it through on a printer, and all that design in there.
I'll tell you, for people that are watching, you can't really feel it, obviously, but it's got a very like snug fit in there.
Yep.
So obviously you go to shows and stuff, but if someone wanted to purchase your pieces, is there a website somewhere they can take a peek at the stuff?
I used to have a website, but what I found out is I do not have the time to do my regular job, this job, including the leather and everything else that I do, and maintain a website. So you can read my email, which is failsforge at Gmail, or on TikTok, same thing.
Who the fuck's going to go to an email, right? You got to have pictures of these things up.
Yeah, that's why everybody go to my TikTok. Now that one I did for Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. They do dinners here in Yakima, and they always hit me up to do donation blades for them.
That's an antler or something,
yep,
huh?
That's antler.
I think I'd give my dog as a chew toy.
Funny enough, my dogs will not touch antlers.
Really?
Probably, I can leave that on my in the house, and they will not touch that.
This is a pretty knife. Yeah. So this,
mm-hmm.
compared to in a functioning world, what would this one be used for?
The bigger one you can use for just about anything you need to use it for. I mean, you could use the kitchen if you wanted to. You could do butchering with it. But like I said, it's technically what they call a fighter. It's made to, goes in the other guy.
Yeah.
Now, the other one, the curve, that's much more for skinning out, stuff like that. More of a hunter skinner is what we'd call it.
Like this one.
Well, hopefully somebody else does too, so they'll bid on it.
What is cost?
That one's going to be around probably about $350.
$350, okay. That is a pretty knife, man. Look at this handle. Like you cut all this and
oh yeah.
What's this to kind of, because it looks like it's sealed.
Oh well, I char it to give it the banded look.
Okay.
I just take my just kind of burnal it, and then I just hit it with my really high polishing wheel, and it just polishes everything up.
Wow. And how long do these take to make from scratch?
Everybody asks. That's the problem. I don't ever do one start to finish. I'll forge out 8 to 10 to 30 blades, and then I'll spend the next couple of weeks doing guards and handles, and then I'll slowly get them all put together as I go. For something like the buoy, 10 hours.
Wow. Okay. So there's some time into that.
A little bit. More for the guard. The blades are the easy part. Almost everything I make, the blade is the easy part. That's not what costs you the money. What costs the money is the fancier grips and the fancier guards. Blades I can do quick.
Now, on the blades, does the type of material you're using, because, I guess your steel, I don't know what, I guess you can make it out of damn near anything. But what's going to be most durable longevity? What
you're going to go for is a high carbon steel. Some people will use stainless. I don't touch stainless. I don't like it. I like high carbon steel. It's been used for about 2,000 years.
So this one looks very similar to this one.
It's almost the same blade, just a different handle.
Okay.
And that one, a donation for Safari Club International for their Spokane chapter.
Safari Club International out of Spokane is getting this.
And then Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation here in Yakima is getting that one.
And what do they do? What's the purpose of donating?
They do a lot of wildlife conservation. And by that, I mean actual conservation, not bad, but actually manage your animals and manage the wildlife.
This one's heavy.
It's kind of a knife meets Bowie knife.
Okay. And this handle's something different. What is this?
Yeah, that's an epoxy resin stabilized wood inside the resin.
Wow, this one's got some weight to it. I feel like I could. So now, and you make all of, what are these called again?
Well, there's scabbards and there's sheaths.
Okay, that's what I've heard of sheaths.
Sheaths are lighter weight. They just give you something to hold it in. A scabbard actually affords amount of protection to the blade itself.
So this gives protection to the blade.
It's heavier duty. It's thicker, so it's going to be...
And these are all materials, feels like.
Solid leather.
So on the episode that we saw, the final where you tested, it was tested on slicing there was a little bit of jabbing because they
Oh,
jabbed it into the dummy to break the ribs. But then that's probably where a lot of these people either make or break, right? Because that's putting stress onto any weak points. As we got to see your competitor. It almost seems like common sense should have said that's gonna, because like you said, you're told time.
Yeah.
And we had that nut out of there.
Well, on the funny side of that, they don't allow you to do this anymore. They probably caught on to me and some of the other guys doing it. We were in constant contact every night after we got done working on stuff, and the crew would leave. One individual would leave. I'd be on the phone with the guy going, "Hey, this is what I did," and we'd send pictures. "This is where I'm at. How are you doing?" And da 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 da. And we'd talked about that curl up there is broke, and in talking to him, I was like, "Remember, you cannot. That's got to be rounded off."
Oh, prior?
That needs, but happen. We need to hose in, because we sat down and we brainstormed the night that they gave us the assignment for that blade, and we're sitting in our hotel room. It's like, dude, how are we gonna do this? And we started thinking about it. It's like, wait a minute, if we hot cut it, we don't have to curl it first, but we just hot cut it and separate it away. And then I was like, but remember, when you hot cut it, you're going to want to round that out so you don't have a stress riser right there. And he didn't hot cut it to begin with. One, he just used a cutoff wheel, so he had a really sharp 90-degree angles all the way, and we saw what happened.
Yeah.
It created a stress and snap there and went the tip of his blade.
Did you talk to him after that happened?
A couple of times.
I mean, like right after it.
After it happened, we back up to our hotel rooms, and
what was his demeanor like?
He wasn't really happy. Don't blame him.
Did he? Because, most things don't go our way. We usually blame a lot of outside things, right? Was there any blaming that, well, he hit the sword differently than he hit yours?
Not on ours. That has been an issue before, but not with our episode.
Okay.
I mean, when Blades, that guy, he
was.
Oh my God. When we first saw him, when he's starting to do, he does, if you full episode, with our knives, he's doing a coconut chop. And we see him, and he takes his left hand, and he reaches around here, and he grabs his belt loop. And he does that so that his arm doesn't throw his balance off, and he can grab his hip and pull his hip, which brings even more power into the hit. And as soon as he reached over and did that, all of the bladesmiths were just like, oh, shit. He hits hard. Because we've never seen him before, and man hits like a freaking ton of bricks.
Yeah, he definitely was putting some swing into it.
Yeah.
When you're watching it, other contestants, do you guys like, man, I wish they would let us use our own weapons?
Oh, for which part?
Any of it. The hitting the dummies. Like, do you wish you got the ones that were getting to test?
Oh God, yeah, we'd love to get in there. Oh,
or if you could yours and your competitor gives you yours, that way you're really putting full into it.
We'd love to, but because safety reasons, we're not. But we're all sitting there going, oh. I'd love to have the money to have a pig carcass that I could just slice and slice. Oh, wow.
Is there a pig carcass they were hitting?
No.
Okay.
Ours, we got the dummy for the sword. And we were watching it, and while we're there, they cut out one of the cuts, because I remembered seeing it. And after they aired the episode, I had to text the other guy. Like, did I imagine this? I was like, no, dude, they cut that, they edited that cut out, because his was sharper. Give him that. His was a sharper blade. It was narrower and it was sharper. So on like the soft tissue damage, it did better than mine.
Do you think if his did not break on the chopping, he would have won?
No.
Okay.
No, because I was there.
But, that's the answer I was looking for. Sorry, Ben.
No, Ben was the guy testing.
Ben
was the guy testing.
Who was your competitor?
A fellow by the last name of Johnson.
Sorry, Mr. Johnson.
But at one point when they do the stab, I thought he snapped the tip, but no, that was when you hear bones snapping as he was breaking ribs. And we were like, did he just break our tips off? No, that was the bone. Well, then there was a point where if you watch the episode and they shoot the dummy, at the very end, you'll see there's a line that goes from the shoulder across. And they cut that out. And I think I know why they cut that out. His did a nice slice. It was very sharp, did a nice slice. Mine, heavier, broader. So it cut through the clavicle, sheared ribs, split the chest bone, and then sheared through these ribs. And the dummy literally just went flop and kind of came back together.
Gruesome.
It was like a Rob Roy moment. If you ever watched Rob Roy at the very end when he takes his claymore and just whack and hits the Englishman and just like opens him up all the way. It was one of those movies. And I was like, and then they didn't put it in. And I was like, huh? Did I imagine that? No. But it was like, no, they just edited that. Okay, cool.
Man.
Somebody goes, no, saw it on YouTube. I found it.
Yeah, there
Like,
might be a clip there somewhere.
I have looked for hours. I have yet to find it.
So, hey, did they pay for this?
They pay you your room and board, and then if you get, they're $10,000.
So you won 10 grand?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
They take that?
No, they don't. And they were like, "What are you going to do with it?" And everybody on the show's like, "Well, I'm going to have to ask my wife, or I'm going to go do this." And my wife had told me, "You're going to use it for your shop and your business." Oh, well, it's all business related. That's tax deductible. It was good to go on that one.
Okay. So you won 10 grand.
Yep.
Plus they paid your room board.
Yep.
Now,
Flights.
in flights. So
Right.
all expenses paid.
All expenses paid. Vacation to Queens.
You got paid to do what you love to do, make a fucking sword and knives.
Oh. And when we came back, and I was working on the one that I did in my shop, my wife will tell you, if Tony's probably heard, it was, if she could have me do that every week for the rest of my life, she would. She goes, he was the most calm, relaxed, happy, chillaxed individual she'd ever seen me as. She's like, I don't know where that guy goes, but he needs to come back more often because, I was one of those, oh, everything's going crappy in the house. Okay, I'll figure it out. I'll take care of it.
Between signing autographs.
And then, and with my regular job, I come home and I'm like,
What's your regular job?
right now I work up at the training center.
Okay. Over in
So technically it's easy.
Okay. My brother-in-law, right before you get to the training center, you make a left.
Yeah.
Okay. Being on Forged in Fire, how has this boosted your career / hobby in what you do now? Did you learn anything from this?
I met a lot of amazing people. And for somebody like me that was always self-taught, and suddenly there's this group of people that not only does what you do, but they've made the same fuck-ups that you've made, and they figured out, hey, this works, this doesn't work.
If you had to name some pros and cons, what was the best thing about being on this, and what was the worst part about it?
The worst part would be not going back and doing it again. I haven't had a chance to go back and do it again. Best part about it was, like I said, the people you meet. The judges are great. Like I said, I'm Facebook friends with the judges, and if I've got questions, I always see a lot of the stuff David Baker posts, and he'll do something in his shop, and I'm like, dude, that's amazing. How do you do that? And it's like, oh, it's easy. And he'll send me clips. Here, check this out. Here's my tutorial. Da-da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Or he'll want motorcycle rides because he and I are both Harley guys, and he'll take long rides. And so wherever he's at, I'm like, that looked great. And he's just totally down to earth.
So you met some really cool people from this that you stay in contact with?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I all the guys that were on the show with me. Like I said, the judges, they'll talk to you if you email them or talk them, whatever.
Have some of the contestants on the show, have they gone back and been on again?
Oh, yeah. A lot.
Is it special episodes?
What it'll be is they'll do either a champions episode where they'll take a bunch of champions and say, we're going to have you guys compete against each other. So then we'll have the champion of the champions.
Right.
I've said, I'll go back to that. I want to. And the funny part is Washington State alone has enough champions and second runner-ups that we could easily do 2 of those episodes out of Washington people alone.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Right?
Did you put the contestants that went on the show?
Yeah. One of the guys that was on the episode, a couple episodes before mine, Mike, I knew him. David Roders out of Pasco, I've met him. And then...
Did he win?
Yeah. He actually got invited back a couple of times.
That'd be cool to have both you guys come in together one time and do an episode together talking about it. That even better. That's what we're looking for here at Wise Media Studios.
He's a really nice. Well, he does really nice work. His blades are nice.
Okay,
I'll give him that. But I don't know.
Go ahead, say it.
I'm trying to think of the word. Because I mean, I can easily apply to myself. I'm way more sarcastic.
Seems like this is with a bit of an ego.
Some of us have it, yes.
Okay.
In fact, one of the guys that knows a lot of the people that have been on it, that I used to go to events with, and a bunch of us would show up, and he's like, he goes, it's kind of funny. He goes, you go on Forged in Fire, you get two different types of people that go on Forged in Fire. And one of the guys that had been on it was there with us, and he's like, some people on, and it's like, they get all now their shit don't stink, and they're amazing, and everything's A-okay, and they don't do anything wrong. He goes, and then you get guys like Tim. And the guy that was there was like, you're an asshole. And I'm like, well, he's right.
So, Tim, what was something about the show that you weren't a fan of? Not so much about the show, but maybe like the production side of things.
Oh, my God.
Where it wasn't what you expected.
At first, I hated the interviews. I was like, they're going to put a pin on it, and I have to sit there, and I have to go through interviews. And then another guy that had been on the show the season before me that I knew had told me, they have an edit button. They can bleep you out. He says, have fun with them. Just be you and have fun. And it was like, so after the first hour and a half of interviews and my butt's going numb, I'm like, fine, I'm going to start just having fun. And I was just off the cuff giving my answers, and that made everything way more fun. And other than that, the only thing I really didn't like is it was at that point they were shooting over in New York City. I don't like big towns. New York's not a big town. New York's a huge fucking city. And
especially coming from somewhere like here where a lot of people don't really out of this area too often.
Oh, it was funny. The night that was me and the other gentleman back, and we just done our final episode, and his blade broke, mine didn't. We go back to the hotel, and we're like, let's go get some pizza. Everybody talks about, oh, there's New York pizza. Oh, it's so good. This flash New York pizza is not what it's cracked up to be.
Yeah, it is. It absolutely is.
Ah,
Tim,
no.
You had pizza, Tim.
That may be. I may have just gotten some bad pizza, but we went to the place that we were supposedly had good pizza.
That's it, Tim. We're going to knife fight about this right now.
So we go, and we're trying. He was from West Virginia, so I mean, you think I'm an okie yokie. This kid was like, it was bad.
Yeah, neither one of you motherfuckers know what good pizza is, apparently.
Apparently not. Well, actually, no. There was a place in Cannon Beach, Oregon, and it's just this little out-of-the-way place on the main strip. It's just this little hole in the one. Oh, my God, their pizza was the best pizza ever. Doesn't matter. So we get our pizza, and then we walk out, and we realize, where the fuck are we?
Fucking Harlem.
Well, we knew we were only maybe 7 blocks from our hotel. But when everything is 8 to 15...
Bro, I'm laughing because my first time going to New York was the same. And I'm from Miami, which is already a big city.
Yeah.
But New York is
but
a
you
different
have a
world.
skyline in Miami. I've seen pictures. You can see a skyline. In New York, you got me and him, boys from the hills. We're like, where's the sun? I can't see the sun. Hell, I can't see anything. It's straight up.
Yeah.
Shit.
It's like being in prison. It's like you're surrounded by concrete walls everywhere.
Until we found a big intersection, and we kind of go out in the middle of the road and, honking, and we're like, that is the top of our hotel. And so use that and we just kind of kept beelining through businesses, we'd go in their front door and go back door because that was in the way. And we were just walking, we got our pizzas. We want to get back to our hotel. That's all we want to do. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Not again.
I'm not a fan of New York either.
No. And apparently the flight into another state, and you can still go to New York City if you want to get on a train.
Right.
But
yeah,
apparently the new one is kind of like out in the woods.
So do you do any of the local events here, like Yakima? Do you do, because they do I think it's every Sunday during like spring through summer.
I don't.
Have you ever?
No, not here.
I should check it out.
They would probably require me to have insurance through the wazoo.
You think?
Yeah.
We can talk to one of the ladies.
A lot of your more commercial venues, Ren fairs that I do.
Yeah.
I've got to pay for insurance for all of those.
And what's insurance run on that? Is it because of the weapons? Somebody could get hurt?
Somebody could get hurt, and I usually have my forge there so I can do demonstrations.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, that'd be super cool.
And I say, I'm Gen X, so I'm like, hey, don't be dumb. If you grab a knife and you cut yourself, well, you were being dumb.
Yeah.
And there's people that always do this. They'll grab a knife, pull it out, and
ooh,
is it sharp? And then, oh God, yeah. Well, it's a knife. It's supposed to be sharp.
Even when I was picking up a second ago, I was so cautious because I don't know how sharp you got these things, but
Dave,
got some. I was going to ask you, is that how you do the dome? Do you?
No, that's what my arms all have. Varying differences.
You test it on the arm?
Oh, yeah. Some guys will do their legs. I'm like, no, I want to have shaved legs in the summertime.
I just remember the movie the movie Predator. I remember the black dude's name.
Yeah,
but he's
shaving with a big buoy. Yeah,
just looking at the camera. You should make a snippet of that and post it on TikTok and recreate
my beard. So one of these days, what I'll do is I'll do that. I'm like, hey, is it sharp? And just shave one.
Okay, so part of the show, I believe, you probably make awesome stuff, but I imagine when they're looking for a candidate to be on the show, you can't just be super talented. You also have to be a little bit charismatic, right? They want a character.
Yeah, that was one of the issues with some of the guys that were on the show. I felt it's kind of funny after being on the show and watching it multiple times. Like, wow, they have me on there a lot. And my wife brought up, she goes, well, there's Alan, and Alan, I'll be seeing him in April because he does the knife shows too, and we'll both be down in Texas. And Alan is awesome, love him, and he's lively too. But then you had the other two guys, and they just kind of. You'd ask them, they'd ask a question.
Give like a one-word answer.
Yeah, it's like...
Pizza? Yes.
Yeah, it was like watching Bruce Willis on frickin' Fifth Element. How do you feel? Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Swell. More than a one-word answer.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's probably a big part of the casting, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm guessing so, because, that's one of the reasons they say we're not going to all out until done, and we get... It's going to be me and Johnson, and... They're like, okay, just you go to the Met and look at all the weapons they have there, the examples, you can get better ideas. Well, guess what? They don't have a single one of the blades that we did in the Met. For the thousands of weapons they've got, that was not in there. And we know because we looked the entire freaking museum. But up until that last night, they keep you on a really strict lockdown. And last night, Alan, who is a social media wizard, and knows how to use Uber, and he calls somebody up and he's like, hey,
no wonder why these guys don't like New York. Got get down there, Uber.
It's like I tell people
I like this guy, Tony.
I was on TikTok this morning and I was doing one of my lives and I was like trying to figure out, I couldn't get the camera to flip, and so I'm trying to I finally figured it out. I'm so proud of myself. And like, wait a minute, and all the words are on sideways, and I'm trying to read them sideways. I'm like, does anybody even hear me? Am I broadcasting? And I was like, I'm sorry, I sound like an idiot, but this is my technology. I can rebuild my power hammer. I can rebuild my forge.
We got to get you saying yabba dabba do for sure.
Hey, that was one of the things they kept trying to get me to say on frickin' Forge and Fist. There can be only one.
Oh, okay. Like Highlander?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
did you do it?
I don't remember if I did or not. Because the final episode, Scottish stuff. So I've got my
oh shit. Okay.
Well, I actually made
Hilt?
Yes. And yes, worn properly. My boots, my kilt, the jacket that I sewed up for the show. And so they're the only one. And I was like, I'm not going to say it. I don't remember if they got me to say it or not. But it was funny because after I win and I go and I shake everybody's hands, Baker, the cowboy-looking fella, he brings me in, he gives me the big old hug, and he's like, this is where you're supposed to yell, freedom! And I died. It was so hard.
Man, it sounds like a lot of fun.
It was amazing. I'll go back.
Because it's totally, it caters to what you're into.
Oh, yeah.
Not just the knives, but like dressing up, It's kind of like cosplay.
Yeah. Which can be fun on its own.
Yeah, yeah.
But we had RadCon in Pasco.
I was going to say, you must be at a lot of those events because these cosplay nerds must eat up.
Yes,
I mean nerds in the most endearing way.
Geek.
Yeah, I'm a nerd.
I know there's a difference. I've heard people, you're a geek.
Geek to me is more like nerd is like you can nerd out Star Wars, Star Trek, Power Rangers. You can
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings, yeah.
Yeah.
Are you a Star Wars fan?
Believe it or not, Star Trek. Oh. I love the idea with the Jedi and the like, and I love the original 3, 4, 5, 6.
Right.
And I didn't mind, what is it, A New Hope or whatever it is, the fourth one. But it doesn't matter. But overall, once Disney took it, I wanted nothing to do with it.
Yeah, Disney, they ruined a lot of shit, man.
And I'm scared because they're actually trying to Reynolds Deadpool 3.
Really?
Because they're trying to reshoot a bunch of scenes to woke it. And Ryan Reynolds, of all people, Ryan Reynolds, who is about as woke as you can get, is telling them, F off.
Really?
No, we're not touching this movie. You're not changing these scenes. So they're like, well, we need you to be here. And he's like,
no.
Can't do it. I'm busy. I'm shooting another show. Not available. Not available. And so the producers are getting very grouchy with Ryan Reynolds, which for once, Thank you, Ryan.
My service is Mint Mobile, brought to you by Ryan Reynolds. If you would like this episode, Mr. Reynolds, Mint Mobile, way to go.
But yeah, he's like, I'm staying true to Deadpool and screw Disney and PC and everything. And just hoping that the new one is more like the, because I really wasn't a fan of the second one.
Yeah, me neither. But like so many shows, it's hard. You kind of like get that first and the dragon.
I get it, but they could have thing that would have made an entirely, and I'm sorry, you're probably going to catch flack for me saying this.
Let's hope.
Domino. That was I don't think they could have picked a worse person. And don't get me wrong, Zazie Beetz is a good actress. She is not Domino.
See, this is where you're nerding out now, because you got to remember, this shit doesn't just cater to the comic book fans. This caters to people that have no idea anything about the backstory.
Well, then what they do, especially heterosexual guys, look up what Domino's supposed to look like.
There you go.
And damn, it's not Zazie Beetz. Nowhere close. And their argument originally was, well, we couldn't find an actress that could actually portray Domino. I was like, there are dozens of girls that do cosplay professionally.
Yeah, I could go talk and find one right now.
Right, that are dead look like. So don't tell me you can't do it. Whatever. But my youngest stepson at the time was like, Tim, yes, I'm confused. What about? He goes, well, isn't Domino supposed to be an assassin? So, well, supposed to be an assassin, and she's actually like a mama hen X-Force. She kind of reins everybody in, and she's kind of like the overseer of everybody and controls everybody and helps everything work along. And he's not young. It's like, no, she's not. He goes, but she's an assassin. Yes. Yes. Don't assassins need to blend in? Yes. That's how they get up close and they do their job. How do you blend in with a tall afro, Tim? It's like, this is why I love you. The other day we were talking about the Obamas, and in my opinion, what's going to happen is, I know I'm going off tangent, I do it all the time. You got to really rein me in. But I'm betting in July, they're going to pull Biden, and at the last second, they're either going to drop in Newsom or they're going to drop in Michelle. And I told that to Gavin. Oops. Sorry, Gavin. And Gavin's immediately, oh, Michelle Obama, the fleshlight transvestite.
Oh, no.
I was like, oh my God. So I had to share that, and everybody was like, oh my God, from the mouths of babes. I'm like, oh, he's 19. He's not a baby anymore. But it was just great. I just had to share it with Tony because it was, oh my God.
This is the kind of stuff that makes gold clips as well. Speaking about elections, a lot of people are like, man, what's up with Ron DeSantis? Why doesn't he run? I think there's a strategic move behind this.
I do too.
We know Trump can only run for one more term.
Yep.
And then we have this, well, he's not going to, he's only going to get one more term.
He could run for two.
How?
If you've been impeached, it actually nullifies your previous abilities. He could. I don't think he's going to.
Right.
But he'll do his 4.
In a good sense, because if DeSantis were to come run right now, let's say DeSantis won, likely that Trump would win again in the future.
Yeah.
So Trump wins it now.
Yep.
And then we get DeSantis possibly in 28, and then 4 years later. So we might have the next 3 terms with some decent people in office.
That'd be nice.
That's
I could do with going back to being an energy producer instead of an energy
dude. I hate to get too political because it's really the problem is people politics to, oh, you're a white male, so you must be Republican. I was the higher life. I didn't vote for Trump the first go round. But then, and I hate the word woke because to me it means something different. Yeah. I actually woke up, started looking at what things really were. The economy, unfortunately, now is the Republican Party in office. That could change in the future.
The only thing I'm doing this about was personally, I get really as Republican or different.
That's our really only 2 options we got.
That's the only real 2 options, because in reality, what it is it literally goes further than that. You've got conservative,
right,
and you've got liberal.
But do you know how like a 3-party state works versus like a 2-party state? Living in a 2-party state kind of like debilitates on how we can. You end up only having an option. It's my vote on a middle runner, because once it's out, my vote's out too. I can't recast that vote anywhere.
Now, see, I mean, honestly, if they wanted to play it, they won't. The DNC will not do this, but what they do, get behind RFK. That guy is old school blue dog Democrat, and it's common sense Democrat, and he is a Democrat. He's not a liberal, which is why they won't get behind him. But it's like, he could actually bleed off a lot of the Trump supporters. He's pro-gun. He's anti-vax. He's America.
But no, even the left would be scared of that.
And that's why they asked he could get Secret Service protection for running for president, and no.
Wow. Yeah.
Everybody else not you.
Well, needless to say, I would love to have you back in and have a whole conversation on that because he seems like it'd be a lot of fun.
Well, let's
not get canceled yet.
I'll do that on my time.
Forged in Fire, season 5, episode 15. The winner, $10K in your pocket, reinvested in your business, no taxes. You had met some amazing people out of this. You get to
trying to go back.
He's, they should just bring you back what you might say. That's what makes a lot of comments,
Like I said, they've got their champions episodes. It's like, I'll do those. They've got veteran episodes. Do those. They've got Beat the Judges episodes. I'm like, I want to take on David Baker.
Yeah.
Just so I can hang out, because the Beat the Judges episodes, you in their shop. And I'm like, I would kill to be able to hang out with David Baker for 12 hours a day for 4 days straight. Dude, I'd just be floating up here somewhere.
Again, I think if you had like a website and some kind of social media presence, you might have a better shot at getting back into this shit.
I'm trying. I've got up to 6,000 on TikTok.
Yeah, but we got to do something. Shawn doing a regular episode, something. We live in a world, man, where if they can't do this. Yeah.
Oh.
You could have your stuff displayed. Like when you're making the stuff, I know you TikTok stuff, but you could have, whole time-lapse videos on your website.
I've seen them. I've seen people that can on the TikTok thing.
It's just look, Viking.
It's about all I can do is look grumpy.
I bet these other guys that are getting brought back, if you go look them up, I bet they've got a social media presence.
There's a lot of them that, just so you know, for the first time in my life, I'm going to have swag. I ordered some T-shirts and a couple hoodies. Yeah, for Texas. We're going to try and make some money off of that. You should
have an episode where come on every once a month, or you should have an episode, but once a month you should come on with a different wig every time. Just for comical. That would be fucking hilarious.
He's probably laughing because he knows that I'm a huge Halloween junkie.
What time of year I can wear hair?
And one of my go-tos was always Jack Sparrow.
Oh shit!
And so I've got the hair, and the beard, and oh my god,
yeah, because I can picture you like a character on Grand Theft Auto with like a pohawk,
blue green here,
2028 blacksmith now is punked out,
cyberpunk.
Yeah, bro, because you have the look. It'd be fun. I think that's the stuff that's going to get you to other gigs, man, because you've got an awesome personality.
Well, thank you.
I didn't really know. A lot of times I'm surprised. Like we had some interviews last week, and I thought they were going to be the dullest interviews, and they're actually pretty entertaining. One reason I thought your interview was going to be halfway decent was because you were on a TV show, and I know they don't pick people if they're like stale potatoes.
Yes, they do.
Well,
luckily,
no, you're a character, man. You know what's fun is you like I can sit here and make zay and you don't take it personal.
Oh God, no.
And if I sense that you're that type of person, I wouldn't do it, obviously. But it's fun to be able to just it's fucking it's ego shit.
1, Gen X. 2, military. I talk to my best friend. Hey, bitch. You have a cup of stupid for breakfast? What's your effing problem?
He said his friend, not his wife. To be clear.
No. Oh, no. My wife is Angel, baby girl, baby doll. Yeah.
Anything but.
Yeah, and my ex is that.
I know. Such a disrespectful something that Gen X does not do. Like we come from a level of respect.
I will call my friends the filthiest, most disgusting names in the world, and they'll fire them right back, and then we're just laughing our asses off.
Yep.
And people that I don't like, if I don't like you, so I'm talking to you like this.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Body language.
Whatever you say, sir. Okay, yes, sir. No, sir. No, ma'am. And then,
Tony, we're going to have him for Saturday. Well, we're doing cigar. You're going to come tonight if you're free. We do every Saturday night. We have a little podcast where we sit around, we smoke cigars in here and bullshit.
I don't ever smoke.
Well, do you drink?
Yes.
Do I drink?
We usually do some bourbon or whiskey.
Oh.
Yeah. So we do it every Saturday. If you can't make it.
Time?
6, 7, 8.
Okay.
We do hours because you're not supposed to smoke in here.
Oh, I heard nothing.
And then we put on a podcast hoping nobody watches. We want everyone to watch it, just not.
Depends on. We'll have our granddaughters come over every Saturday.
Okay.
And so we'll have them, if I can get them to go to sleep soon enough.
Well,
and convince the wife that it's okay.
We've got a TV room out there and stuff too. You can always have them sit on the couch and watch a movie.
Oh, I won't do that. No, no, these two. Well, not just these two. I've got 4, and I've got 3 granddaughters and 1 grandson, and 2 that we watch every weekend. Tegan and Taysom. Tiggs and Tater. And they...
There's some Washington names for you. They weren't named in New York City, I could tell.
No. Hey, you got that right. And Tater Tot. Every Sunday morning, I go upstairs and I start cooking for everybody else is awake. And Tater, she'll come upstairs and she'll like lean up against the wall at the top of the stairs and watch. And I'll turn around and she gets this little look on her face like, you want to come watch Papa cook breakfast? And so she'll come over, she'll start talking to the dogs and talking to the cat and talking to me. And we just make breakfast and have a good old time.
Aren't kids the best?
She's a morning person. Her sister is not. Her sister is wake her up. It's time for breakfast. Well, you got to get up. And Taysom, she wakes up and she's like me. She wakes up and she's in a good mood. And then she's good to go.
Nice.
These are awesome.
All right. Well, Tim Louk, thank you so much for coming in, man. This was a lot of fun.
I love it.
Guys, go check him out on TikTok. There's a link in the description of the video and a website coming soon, I hope, because I can't wait. I can't wait to see where this guy goes with this. I hope you get back on the show. Also, let us know where some of your next events are going to be, because maybe we can let people know. Maybe they can come out and check out some of your stuff. But guys, check out these knives. If you're interested, drop a link in the or drop a comment on the video. We can definitely put you in touch with Tim as well. And maybe if you mention that you came from Wise Media Studios, maybe Tim will do some kind of awesome deal for you. Cool. Tim, thank you so much, brother.
My pleasure. Next time I'll bring the swords, the big ones.